Is this finally the end of Gawker? Now, you may be familiar with Gawker and its far left partner sites. Gawker itself is basically defunct. I think it was recently bought by somebody to try to bring it back, and there were accusations of, like, I don't know, bigotry or something from the staff. But now, what's remaining of the Gawker network was called the Gizmodo network. I got hired by a company called Fusion in 2014. Fusion initially wanted to be kind of like Vice. They wanted to be edgy, middle of the road, not super partisan, and do exciting underground content. The Fusion company was producing one of their most prominent shows called like Drug Wars. And it was an on-the-ground embedded documentary series tracking like, the drug wars. So it was with like law enforcement and military. It was pretty good. But something happened. I don't necessarily know what, but I can tell you from my perspective, marketers came down, consultants, and they started saying, stop trying to be middle of the road. Nobody wants that. Go far left. Young people are progressive. You should go far left. Okay, sure. Listen, we look at the data from Pew, and we can see that Generation Z is comparably progressive relative to millennials, but they are more conservative. It's the first time the trend has reversed. Gen Z is more conservative than Gen X. However, Gen Z also likes PewDiePie. And who does the media hate? The media hate PewDiePie. So what happens? You want to make content where you target people who are more progressive without realizing they may hold certain views that are progressive, but they don't like your regressive behavior. Dude, there's a chart that I frequently cite about YouTubers and far left and far right. And people often ask on the left, why isn't PewDiePie listed as far right? And it's like, oh my God, dude, because PewDiePie makes videos about memes. Like seriously. So there's this chart that I frequently show, and it shows all these bubbles. And apparently PewDiePie was going to be included, but none of his recommendations line up with political YouTube. They line up with other YouTubers and gamers and nonsense. So he's not included. The media likes to smear PewDiePie and call him things that are just absolutely not true. So what ends up happening to a company like Fusion? Well, they lit like $1 billion on fire. I kid you not. Like I was told it was around $1 billion. They basically just flushed it out down the toilet. ABC News and Univision were the companies that were involved. Well, Univision sold Gizmodo to a private equity firm. This could be the end or a revitalization. I'm kind of leaning towards it's the end of Gizmodo as we know it, because I don't think these companies are going to want to be involved in less than profitable ventures, which they typically tend to be. Now, one of these companies included in this group it's a site called Splinter News. Splinter News used to be Fusion. So there it is. I worked for Fusion. They went far left, and officially, they're defunct. They're a skeleton crew that were sold off to a private equity firm. Now look, they're still functioning, right? I don't mean defunct as in like they completely don't exist. What I mean to say is they have been sold off. Univision and ABC News, which launched Fusion, everybody got laid off for the most part. Then it became Splinter, got wrapped up into Gizmodo, and then sold off. So whatever it was is gone. The people who worked on it, I don't even know what's going on anymore. That's how you waste $1 billion. You launch a media venture and decide to pander to a tiny fringe minority of the population. Guess what? The progressive activists in this country are only around 8%. It's a decent percentage. But are you going to make a media company targeting 8%? Look, I get it. You want to make a Jezebel website with a small dedicated audience that can make a certain amount of money? Makes sense. But if you're talking about investing like $1 billion into a new media venture to rival Vice, you can't target the smallest portion of our country. You need to make something that people generally like, which is, believe it or not, kind of middle of the road content. And you got to talk about things other than politics and news. But they didn't do that. They went hardcore far left, and here we are. Univision made good on a promise to sell its online properties on Monday when it announced that it had sold Gizmodo Media Group, which includes the family of websites formerly known as Gawker Media. They say, so this is from Univision CEO. Today's announcement is the culmination of a very thorough process as part of Univision's broader strategic realignment and return to its core strengths in Hispanic media and marketing. Our aim from the outset of this process was to sell these assets as one, and we are pleased to have found a terrific buyer in Great Hill Partners that is committed to growing these properties. We are grateful to our colleagues at GMG and The Onion for all their high-quality journalism. Wow. I had to stop right there. No. And achievements as part of our company, and we wish them and Great Hill Partners tremendous success. The only way, in my opinion, that Great Hill Partners bought this is at a massive, massive discount. Let's pop over to the Wall Street Journal, see what they had to say about it, because what did Univision want for these properties? Well, first of all, the companies didn't disclose the deal's price. People familiar with the sale process said they expect Great Hill Partners to pay much less than the $135 million Univision paid in 2016 to acquire most of the Gizmodo properties. Wow. I feel bad. I really do feel bad for Univision because I don't think they're bad people. They just don't understand this space. And so it would have done them well. I'll say this. I have absolutely no problem being a braggart, boastful, and egotistical and arrogant when it comes to this matter. If the people at Fusion had listened to me, they would be raking in the dough with a wildly successful venture. It is no coincidence, in my opinion, that upon my departure from Fusion and the launching of my, personal ventures, that we are now expanding and launching Subverse. And Subverse has over 85,000 subscribers in like a month. I don't even think they were able to, I think they got a decent amount of subscribers, but they couldn't even get more than a few hundred views per video. My videos average between 150 and 200,000 views, and they could have listened. They could have said, wow, Tim, you know what's really crazy? What's really crazy to me? Seriously, hear me out. When I was at Fusion, they told me I was the only personality that had consistently getting traffic. And you know what I wasn't doing? I wasn't making far left content. I was doing stuff about like tech issues. I did a documentary on Fukushima. We went on the ground, got 500,000 views on that video. And they were like, wow, your videos consistently, I was doing like one video per week, were consistently getting traffic. And then what happened? They just didn't want to go full steam ahead. They were told far left was the way to go. And here they are, sold for presumably much less than what they wanted. It's all defunct. They wasted everything. Could you imagine if everything that I've done in the past 2 years with building my channels, working every day, no days off, producing content, expanding, launching Subverse, I'm now working on, we're getting to the point where we're going to start commissioning documentaries. We've even started doing some entertainment content with the Subverse Mystery Podcast. First episode piloted on the Subverse channel the other day. A lot of people said they're not interested in that kind of stuff, but I get it. But look, this is about a bigger brand. If you like me, watch my stuff. If you want to watch Subverse, there's going to be a variety of content as we expand this. We're going to launch sub-channels, and it's going to be something bigger, and it's not going to be fringe political. It's going to be kind of like shruggy, I don't know, we'll figure it out kind of content, where we only publish things when it's like, you get it. You know who I am. Imagine if the resources they granted me, imagine if they took my advice, because there was a $1 billion venture. Imagine if they said, you know what, Tim's onto something. His content works. People like it. They want to watch. Let's invest in this. Where do you think they would be? I would be willing to say right now, I think they'd be worth substantially more money. Since I left Fusion, and they were giving me tremendous resources, absolutely. And I was building up this content that was working. We were getting like 50 to 100,000 views per video, brand new. It was like some of the first content I was actually producing. And they were getting sometimes, like I mentioned, the Fukushima thing, it's on the front page of my main channel, 400, 500,000 views. And what was their ultimate plan? They did nothing. Well, there you go. This is what happens. Get woke, go broke. 100%. This is one of the biggest examples of get woke, go broke. I kid you not. Because they were staring in the face of success, and they said, yeah, but we want to get woke. There were people in that office that believed pretty crazy, fringy things. Things that I knew were not even supported by the Wall Street Journal, for instance. There was one woman who had a dollar bill on her desk, and there was like a purple line through it with an arrow pointed to it, and it said something like, my earning, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I'm like, man, if you actually just read any mainstream news source, you'd know that's not true. But you read Gizmodo, you read Jezebel, you read Vox, BuzzFeed, and you will think it is true. And that's one of the reasons I think these companies are collapsing. The Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, they're doing great. Excuse me. The subscribers are up. They're making money. They're bragging about it. These digital media ventures are just collapsing. Look at this. What do you think is going to happen now? Excuse me again. Burp. What do you think Great Hill Partners is going to do with these properties? Do you think they're going to increase salaries? No, they're going to trim the fat. They're going to break it down to a skeleton crew. They want to make money. When I look at these companies and I see the amount of people they have, the amount of money these people make, and the work they do, I'm like, yep, that's paid too much. That's not how a company should be run. Absolutely not. These staff people who regurgitate news, no. That is not the landscape. Today, What we need are entrepreneurs and independent writers and journalists and columnists. We need people to be their own personalities, and we need commissions. Yes, full-time staff. Yes, paid well. Absolutely. But that's not what these companies do. They find people for like the bottom of the barrel, they pay them crap, and they have them write crap. Doesn't work. Nobody wants it, and this is what you get. It's kind of sad, really. The Fusion Media Group generated more than $80 million in revenue, according to a document reviewed by the Journal, but still lost about $20 million. Let me explain to you what this really means. Fusion Media Group, negative $20 million revenue. What do you think Great Hill Partners is going to do? Univision took an impairment charge on Gizmodo Media Group of more than $120 million in 2018. What do you think the new company is going to do, Great Hill Partners? Do you think they're going to want to eat $20 million this year? Nuh-uh. They are going to trim the fat and even bone. They're going to cut it down. They're going to strip muscle and find that skeleton crew that can pump out trash content for money. Let's see what they said. Mr. Spanfeller sees promise in the assets, which have a vast online audience, according to a person familiar with his thinking. About 67 million people visited the group's websites in February, according to ComScore. Is that unique? Or I believe that may be unique. I'm not sure. Let me point this out, too. 32.2 million people visited my videos in March. So I'm not quite at 67 million. But if this is unique, they say people, I don't know how they're playing the game. If it's unique, then they're substantially higher than I am, because my unique is like 4 million. A lot of people watch all my content. Good. You guys are great audience members. I really appreciate it. Well, anyway, I will leave it there, I guess. Today's announcement is the culmination. We get it. Univision is still grappling with debt, the consequence of a $13.7 billion leveraged buyout in 2006. When buyout firms took the company private, the company said it finished 2018 with $7.4 billion in debt, but reduced its total debt by $547 million last year. My prediction, mass layoffs. I think layoffs are going to hit the Gizmodo Media Group, and they're going to start stripping out some of these sites. They're going to find out which core property can produce the most revenue for the least amount of costs. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Adios.